Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Gayle. Thank you for joining me for this practice. This practice is about raising your vibration. So everything in life is a vibration. That's a quote from Albert Einstein. And raising our vibration, what does that mean? It means, to me, becoming more alive, becoming more energized, becoming more aware, becoming more focused, becoming more forgiving, becoming more balanced. So it's a really healthy way to live. And how do we raise our vibration? Well, we can do it in a lot of different ways. We can do it by focusing on our breath and getting the breath moving. We can do it by our thoughts and our feelings, like feeling gratitude, thinking positive thoughts, taking time to be quiet and meditate, go inward and explore like what's going on inside of us. So we're gonna see if we can raise our vibration together, and we'll start by finding a comfortable seat and close your eyes. And focus on your inhale, expanding your whole inner body, lifting it up so there's a lift, an inner lift. And then as you exhale, see if you can relax and ground down. So balancing the upward energy with the inhale and the downward energy with the exhale. And we need both to raise our vibration. So we need to be connected and grounded. And we also need to be uplifted and feeling alive and light-hearted and light, just light in our whole being. And when we balance those two energies, we can move with a feeling of grace and strength and balance. So much of life is about balance. And sometimes we are out of balance because we're too active and we don't slow down. And sometimes we're out of balance because we just lie around and maybe feel depressed or feel sorry for ourselves or are lacking energy, and we're just like not willing to get up and to put a little effort into things. But we need to be energized, we need to be active, and we need to relax. So how can we find the balance between the two? And when you're in balance, like your vibration, your energy, your sense of equanimity just naturally lifts you up and keeps you grounded and centered, and life just feels more in balance, more peaceful. So it all begins with the breath. And see if you can breathe in and out through your nose and feel that pulsing. The energy uplifting on the inhale, the energy down, floating down and grounding on the exhale. So there's a feeling of like grabbing onto life and jumping into life on the inhale, and a feeling of being able to let go of anything, just not being bound by any things or even any emotions. And think of something that you're grateful for, or you could just even say, I am grateful for this life. I am grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the love and the friendships in my life. Whatever is meaningful to you, but just so it fills you up with a feeling of gratitude. Now gently open your eyes and let's come on to our hands and knees in tabletop. Feel free to place a blanket underneath your knees and just begin to sway your hips from side to side. So in a wave-like motion. Begin to energize your hands by gripping a little bit with the hands and sending your weight a little more forward towards your finger pads rather than all in the wrist, all of the heel of the hand. And now start to circle your rib cage. So you stretch it over to the right and then down toward the ground, over to the left and up toward the sky. And reverse the direction of your circles. And come back to neutral, so more of a flat back. And if you want, you could lift your feet off the floor and just circle your ankles a little bit, flex and point. And place your feet down and mindfully plug the top of your feet into the floor. So you're plugging down your hands, plugging down your feet. And notice how that might feel like your spine is a little more fluid and open. So now starting at your tailbone, start to lift the tailbone up, sink the low ribs down, press your chest forward and lift your chin up. So you find a nice arch in your spine. And then on an exhale, curl the tailbone under, drawing belly to your spine, lifting up through the ribs and letting your head and neck dangle. And just repeat that back and forth, moving slowly and mindfully. Noticing your feelings as you do this. Notice if they begin to shift and change a little bit. And if you feel more connected into your own inner vibration and to the vibration of everything around you, so that you're not alone, you're connected. Just like each vertebrae of the spine, it's alone, but it's also connected. So it's all these little separate pieces of bone that are connected by tendons and ligaments and muscles and fascia. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Again, find that grip of your fingers. Bend your knees a little forward as you reach your heels down, getting into the calves. Then little pelvic tilts here, so you can feel the difference if your tailbone's lifted or tucked under. And maybe you can reach back just a little bit more. And inhale, round forward to plank. And exhale, bend your knees, stretch back to down dog. And go forward and back. Next time you come forward into plank, lower your thighs toward the ground. Keep your toes tucked or point them, coming into upward facing dog. Engage your glutes, hug your legs in, open up across your chest. And lower your knees down, point your toes, stretch back into child's pose. Inhale, round your spine and come forward. And then when you're forward, start to lower your thighs down and start to change your back from being rounded into being arched, coming into your cobra. Then from here, tuck your toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. And just do that rippling back and forth on your own, from down dog to plank to up dog, back to child's pose. Forward to cat. And tuck your toes back to downward facing dog. It doesn't have to matter, the order doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It's more about the feeling and raising your vibration, raising your energy, raising your awareness. Maybe raising your feeling of gratitude. And lower your knees down. Point your toes, come up to kneeling. Bring your hands to your hips. And then start to tilt your hips back and forth, your pelvis back and forth. Next time your pelvis is tucked under, keep it reaching towards your heels or the back of your knees. Squeeze your legs together. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in prayer position. And start to puff your heart up as you push your legs down. Finding a little back bend here. But you don't want to crank the low back, so it's important to keep the glutes active and tailbone tucking so that your tailbone is reaching away from your chest. And then come back up, release your hands down by your sides, circle your wrists, or do figure eights. A lot of times when I say circle, I actually mean do figure eights, but you could circle as well. Just get the wrists moving. Then again, hug your feet in, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Lift your chest up into your hands. Reach your tailbone down towards the back of your knees. Squeeze your legs, engage the glutes to support you. And then maybe you can release your hands and find your heels. Keep your body active. Then bring your hands back towards your heart, lifting your heart up. Come back into your kneeling position. Just pause for a moment. So these back bends are big heart openers. And when we open our heart, we raise our vibrations. Not to say that forward folds and going inwards doesn't raise your vibration as well, but we need a balance. So again, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Squeeze your thighs in. Root your tailbone down and lift up through your heart. Keep lifting up through your heart as you squeeze the glutes. Release your hands, reach back, or stay uplifted. And if you want, you could even walk your hands forward to the back of your knees this time. And again, lift up from your heart. Bring your hands forward and lift up and back into downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, pull your knee into your chest and step your knee as far forward as you can, coming into pigeon prep. And find some pigeon waves, spinal waves here. And we're going to go from pigeon into wild thing. So press down through your hands, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, and swing your right leg up and behind you, opening up wild thing. And come on back down into your downward facing dog. Stretch back nice and long. Inhale, float the left leg up. And really reach up through your toes. And then hug your knee into your chest and send your knee forward. Pass your hands if you can. Untuck your toes. Find those nice spinal waves. Next time you come up, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee off the floor, flip your left leg out behind you, and your right leg out behind you, and lift your hips up, finding your wild thing. And come back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees and straighten, reach back. So bend the knees forward and reach the heels back. And just go forward and back a few more times. And walk your feet forward. Come into a squat, lowering your hips down. Press your elbows out and your knees, hug your knees in. Lengthen through your spine. And lower your hips as slowly as you can, letting your back round, and pull your legs up between your arms. Reach your shoulders back and your fingers forward. Squeeze your legs up in towards your rib cage. We'll hold here for just a few more breaths. And bend your knees, lower your feet to the floor. Send your hips back. Lift up out of your hips into your Dandasana staff pose. And keep the lift as you reach forward. Then round your back. Come on back up. And arc your heart coming forward. Round coming up. Arc going forward. Then you can play arcing coming up and rounding going forward. Just notice which one feels best for you. And then we'll come into a forward fold. So everyone's going to have a little bit of a different forward fold depending on your flexibility and your hamstrings and the length of your legs versus your arms. So just find a comfortable forward fold that you can relax into. You know, you could support your head with a pillow or a blanket or even a block. You could stay more upright with your back rounded. And you could go back and forth, little spinal waves. And just listen to your body and notice what is going to raise your vibration, bring you up and help you feel good, or what's going to lower your vibration where you feel not so good and tense and uncomfortable. And come on up, pull your left foot into your right inner thigh. Bring your right arm to the inside of your right leg and reach your left arm up and over. Try and keep rooting down through your left hip. And then come on back up, bring your hand behind you, lift your hips up and forward. And lower down. Come back into your Dandasana. And find a few spinal waves here. Then pull your right foot in. Bring your left arm to the inside of your left leg. Reach your right arm up and over. Try and keep that right hip grounded. And lift up and back. Opening up your side body. And come on back down. Straighten both legs again. Flex your feet, spread the toes. Lift up nice and tall. And bend your knees, pull your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your legs, point your toes, and just give yourself a nice hug. And then stretch your legs out, slowly lower onto your back. And hug your knees into your chest. Do some nice circles away from each other, with your knees away from each other. Reverse the direction of your circles. And place your feet on the floor as wide as the mat. Reach your arms up and over your head. Then twist both knees over to the right. Come back to center. Twist both knees over to the left. Come back to center. Keep your left knee up and bring your right knee in towards the inside of your left foot. Bring the right knee up. Keep your knee lifted. Bring the left knee in. And just go back and forth a few times. And then hug your knees into your chest one more time. Like you're really grateful for this practice, for your body, for your breath, for the little things that you might not normally notice or you might take for granted. Separate your knees and let your knees come in close to your rib cage and press your feet up. Now you can be holding the back of your legs or the calves or the ankles or the feet. And then you're letting your knees drop down, but hugging in at the same time. Or actually play around with this. Like let your knees kind of drop open. Notice how your feet turn outward a little bit. And then if you hug your knees in, your feet get a little more parallel. So a lot of times we spend maybe more time, like an unbalanced amount of time with our feet rotated open, our hips open. And so we lose the strength and the awareness of our inner thighs. So by hugging your legs in and paralleling your feet, it's like you're engaging the inner thighs a little bit more. Now release your feet, lower your feet to the floor, lower your arms by your side, and just do little pelvic tilts here. So you arch your back so there's space, and then you flatten your back so there's no space. And just go back and forth. Next time your back is flat, press into your feet and start to curl your tailbone towards the back of your knees and lift your hips up. Keep squeezing your legs in to create that sense of like unity and that hugging in is like hugging into yourself, hugging into the midline, and it gives you more strength and power, which actually helps you to raise your vibration. So we want to have strength and power. We want to have a sense of peacefulness, the ability to let go. So then let your back soften as you lower down, keeping the tailbone tucked until you feel the weight of your hips fully on the floor. We'll do that 2 more times, just going at your own pace. Lift up, hug in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then soften and release and lengthen as you lower. 1 more time, lift up. And slowly lower down. And let's rock up to seated. And we're going to do a short meditation on gratitude. So find a comfortable seat, sit up on a blanket if you need to. You want to be able to be relaxed here and not slouching, but sitting up nice and tall. And focus on your breath moving in and out through your nose. And then focus on a feeling of gratitude. Whatever that feels like to you. You're breathing gratitude in and breathing gratitude out. So the Dalai Lama says, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. So I think when we're kind, we naturally open up to the feeling of gratitude. The feeling of raising our vibration. So that we can expand in all planes of being, all planes of consciousness. And let your breath slow down. Just keep bringing your focus back to your breath and a feeling of gratitude. See if you can lengthen your exhales so they feel longer than your inhales without straining, or with allowing a feeling of being relaxed and open and free. So that you feel like you've brought your vibration, your energy, your feeling of compassion and insight to a higher level. So you're a little more aware of the little things, a little more aware of that you have things to be grateful for. And please bring your hands together in front of your heart in an act of gratitude. Prayer position. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you feel uplifted. I hope that you feel like your vibration is singing and dancing and feeling peaceful and at rest at the same time. I would love to hear a comment from you. I would love it if you'd share this with your friends. Hit the like button and hope to see you again soon. Bye.